Okay, this session is specifically about your group project. It's live, practical, and rehearsal, if you like, of what you are going to be presenting as part of your group project in a few days' time.
So the topic is to understand the importance of business environment and how to navigate that environment. As I said, to move the existing business based in UK to Australia.
The idea of glamping is to have the enjoyment of the outdoors, but without the hassles. I really like the concept of the hotel room in the middle of a field, which is really what they are, and that's what I really like to expand on.
You all going to go glamping with them?
Doing a simulation software to detect mutation for diagnostic and prevent. It's a diagnostic system for preventive medicine.
I mean, there's been a lot of work that's been going on around
in
this
the genomics
very exciting
subject,
in genetics.
Yeah,
and
it's
a big focus is now on protemics, looking at proteins as a
yeah.
as a much bigger
exactly.
source of
And
data
if you
than DNA.
but the source of the proteins and stuff is still the DNA.
Of course. Yeah.
So basically, when you study a mutation, that specific mutation is gonna that will translate in some proteins, and obviously those proteins are gonna be mutated as well because the sequence was mutated.
Yes.
And that's exactly. That's where it goes. So we're going deeper than proteomics.
Oh, fantastic.
We're going genomics.
Wow.
Yeah. The idea is pretty simple, but it's really hard to develop, and we're gonna try.
But please do get in touch with me because I think you've got some fantastic ideas. I would also like you to link them up with other business school students who may be interested in working with you to create a community of activities. And this is now a serious invitation for those of you who are really seriously looking at the prospect of not only just doing this as a class project, but developing it into a business project. Please do get in touch with me because there are some plans that I'm working on with the computing department and the biosciences department for generating business opportunities out of real projects that you may be thinking about.
Looking at the research methodology that we use, we'll look at two aspects, the primary and the secondary. But this report is based on the secondary research. We'll talk about the tourism, the journals, articles on the tourism.
And is the environment supportive or not? Because we plan to move the glamping business from Essex to Australia. What is it that you have found so far which allows you to explore this question? I mean, that's what I want to know. When you put the theory into the context of Australia, as you can see, we picked up some very, very attractive and fascinating figures, primarily the Australia Tourism 2020, which is one huge driving factor for international businesses to go into Australia. I understand that Australia Tourism 2020, I understand life outdoors in Australia, I understand the environment, weather and everything. I understand the fascination with outdoor activities that Australian people, but I want to know what particular segment of the population you might be actually going for. And secondly, why do you think they will take that choice? It's a telling sign that despite the fact that despite all these favorable aspects of the environment, there is at the moment no such thing.
Oh no, well there is, but it's in different formats. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why would your format necessarily work?
Because it's different, and I think.
No, that's not a good answer.
It's proved to be quite a good, it's proved so far with what we've done here
In Essex.
to be a reason why it's worked. That's why when we
Do not rely on
appreciate
the Essex condition.
Yeah, sure.
Do you guys have any questions?
As how are you going to cope with the expansion in terms of decentralization? Because you cannot be here and there. So who is going to be in charge of your business there?
But I would hope that I can leave the business here in the hands of someone I trust, which might be my sister, while I go and try and set up the business over there. And then once the business is over there and set up, I would hope that I could leave that with a manager that I can trust. That is a key issue for me. It's one of the principal reasons why I did this course, is because I do not have good delegation and HR strengths, and I wanted to learn those from this course. And they were primary reasons for doing this course. I need to manage myself better, and I need to know when I can place trust in people.
Okay, that's very good. I mean, I think you're getting a feel for where they are at. We know that they are honing in very much on a particular environment. We understand that they are looking very specifically at particular type of a particular type of a business and a business venture focused on a particular one. Those things are coming out, and clearly they'll have to work on that in a bit more detail, because you can only present so much and not everything. Try heading for the main theme right from the beginning. So this presentation is going to be about the business environment within which we are planning to set up a new business or a new project, whatever. Just go straight into that. And then you can see, in order to make that case, we need to go back a little bit to the background of what kind of business we're talking about, why we are wanting to do that, and then hone in on those specific issues around the environment. Both of you eventually came to it, but you came to it later. Whereas what I'm saying is you go straight into that subject area, so that whoever is hearing, assume that somebody is hearing it for the first time. They don't know what you're presenting. They're hearing it for the first time, and they don't want to try and work out what exactly are you getting at over here. They want to hear right at the beginning, what is it that you have to say, and then open it up like a fan. Okay, so you know that there's a fan, and you're then opening it up to show patterns which fit in. That's how you make a presentation. The second thing, I would strongly recommend you to make the presentation as lively as possible by bringing your own take on it, your own jokes, if you like. Not too many of them, a few, just a few. Don't make it too funny, but liven it up with some anecdotes or things of that if you can, if you have the time. One or two would do. So those are the kind of sort of basic tips, if you like, that I'm suggesting that you should follow when you're making the presentation, because I think there's a reason and a method in the madness as to why I'm making you go through this exercise, because so much of what you do and so much of what you achieve is going to be dependent on that verbal presentation that you make and the few minutes in the initial period when you make an impact, and whether you won over your audience or not. But if the first impression is a strong one, they will listen and figure out ways. They might ask you questions which you may not have explored because they're interested in it. And that's the test.